Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. We've been having a blast with the Rocket Raygun Awards. Thank you so much to everybody that has been sending us videos and notes with their ideas and their picks for the best of the year. We're moving on to our next category right now, which is kind of a complicated one because of all the genre bending and crossovers and stuff that are happening in video games these days. Let's move on to Best Adventure, and we're going to start with EPN's nominees. Moss, developed and published by Polyarc. Return of the Obra Dinn, developed by Lucas Pope and published by 3909 LLC. Minute, developed by Vlambeer and published by Devolver Digital. Florence, developed by Mountains and published by Annapurna Interactive. Subnautica, developed and published by Unknown Worlds Entertainment. All right, some excellent games there, and we're going to announce the winner for Best Adventure Game. But first, let's go to our fans and to our friends in the community.
The best adventure game has to be Moss. Controlling Quill as like a spirit guide while still being in that world, solving puzzles, battling little robots, and then getting to that boss. It was a phenomenal experience. Anyone can play it. I guarantee you'll love it. That's my best adventure game of 2018.
My pick for best adventure game is going to be Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because that game just makes you feel like a complete badass while really engaging you in a giant adventure and a great story.
For Best Adventure, I'm gonna go with God of War, which I know it's not technically adventure, it's kind of an action adventure. Just exploring the wonderful Norse realms like Midgard was just a wonderful experience on its own. And I do think that Sony Santa Monica Studio deserves some credit, so even though it's a little bit bending the rules here, I would still give God of War as my favorite adventure of 2018.
I'm gonna go with Red Dead Redemption 2. Simply put, probably the best open world experience that I've ever had to date. There are a lot of open world games out there, but nothing made me feel like I was really in the West or really in that environment like Red Dead Redemption 2. It was just unbelievable experiencing real-time events that would just happen out of the blue as I was randomly walking around, causing these adventures to take place. So if I decided I wanted to go fishing, a bear might show up and try to steal my fish, or I might be robbed, or I'll decide, well, maybe I should rob somebody. When you have that many, crazy events happening around you, that's just an adventure.
You know, I'm going to give Best Adventure God of War. I really enjoyed me God of War. It came out early in the year. If there wasn't as many boys, I feel like it would have been highly marked on some of the other categories. But God of War, definitely. Boy!
Yeah, as you can see, the picks for Best Adventure Game are all over the map because adventure is a big part of almost every story-driven narrative experience these days, so it can be a little bit confusing. I'm going to break down our nominees, but first we got a vote that was written in from Paul Adamson, and it's another one for God of War, which I think does qualify as an adventure game, which is crazy because, you know, the previous God of War games have all just been hack and slash. There's been great story in them, but it's just been like kill as many things as you can till the end, and you just see Kratos get super angry. But God of War has definitely evolved. But let's look at our nominees here for a second. Moss took my breath away when I played this game. Polyarc made something that was so transportive and wonderful and beautiful. The characters, the sort of fiction and fantasy that was interwoven and intermingled with the VR experience of putting the headset on and just sort of being living in that world was so profound. Such a beautiful accomplishment. It really left me wanting more, which I think is the great sign of an excellent story, and that's absolutely what Moss is. That's why it qualifies there. Return of the Obra Dinn is something that I kept hearing about through the course of the year. I finally had a chance to play it for a little while, and it is an absolutely killer game. It's very minimalist. It's kind of like green and black. It looks like something that you might play on a Kindle or something. The graphics are very stripped down, but it's a 3D sort of exploration detective adventure where you're trying to figure out this giant mystery of who has died on this big ship. Florence is a beautiful game that was developed for phones, and it's basically like a story that you can play through, and it's about how love just sort of happens and the magic of it and the sort of unexplained qualities of it. And it's a really, really sweet exploration of that. And it's heartfelt and it's emotional, but it's also beautifully designed. And I encourage everybody to check that out. It costs less than a latte, so you have no excuse to download that thing to your iPhone or your Android. Subnautica is also a very trippy, survival exploration adventure game, which obviously takes place underwater with some really cool technologies. Beautiful beautiful looking game. It's a super cool experience. I understand there's a VR version of Subnautica as well, which I have not played, but that seems like the perfect way to appreciate this game. My choice for Best Adventure Game of the Year is a very different type of title. It's called Minute, and it lives up to its name. You have 60 seconds to get a lot of stuff done, and then you're dead, and then you got to start again. You get to carry some of the lessons and some of the gadgets and things that you pick up along the way. It's very much like a, top-down Zelda-style adventure, but you have to kind of playing sequences, and you're trying to speed things along, and every conversation that you get into could be the last one you ever have, and it's very profound. That idea, like, the clock is ticking, let's go, let's get on with this life, is really amazing, and it's just so intelligently crafted and very minimalist. Again, it's black and white, but it's a super cool game, and I encourage everybody to check out Minute. It is our winner for Best Adventure Game of 2018.